to you, what is posture?
Posture.
No, that's a hard question.
Posture is
the way that...
Posture? It is,
Posture is,
Posture is,
Hi everybody, I'm Noelle.
I'm Ryan.
We're here today to talk about posture.
Posture.
Posture is terrible. Terrible. Alright, well, we hear it everywhere, right? People are talking about posture. They're saying, oh, you know, my back hurts because of my posture.
Parents yelling at their kids, fix your posture.
I need to work on my posture. Posture is a big buzzword out there. Posture is something that people talk about all the time. But do people even really know what it is? What is posture in the human movement system?
It's a good question. And that's the question that we're about to find out. Because I am going to go out and ask you guys some questions about posture.
At this point, we don't even know how this is going to go. What's going to happen is we are going to be going on an adventure, asking people questions out in the world. And the questions are going to be set for everybody. And I don't know how this is going to go as far as what people are going to be answering. Are we all answering the same thing? Do we all think different things? Do we all think it should be the same? Do we even know why we're doing what we're doing?
A lot of the things that we do throughout the course of a day, anything, is usually habit-based. And we don't question a lot of these things unless the question is proposed to us. Ask yourself these questions too, because we're going to get into the answers of just regular everyday people to see what they think about posture. So question number 1 is to you, what is posture? Question number 2 is what makes posture good or bad? Question number 3, how do people improve their posture? And then the 4th one is going to be, can you show us good posture? So when you're thinking about this too, what kind of things are you doing with your body? How are you moving around? What's going on in your head? And that's what we're trying to get out of this.
Right. So what is posture? Is it important? How are we working on it? Why are we even talking about posture? I think that's what we're going to figure out.
That is what we're going to figure out.
All right, the why.
So why?
how you carry yourself and, like, just how, well, I don't know, that's a hard question, honestly. How straight you're standing?
posture, standing up straight.
I think posture. When I think of posture, I think of like something physical, like the way they pose themselves physically. You know, when they're walking with their chest out, you know, their head up, they're not staring at the ground. So I think posture for me is like you kind of get a read of what they are, kind of how they are, their personality a little bit. If they're walking with their head down, that means that probably that they're not very confident in themselves. So when I think of posture, it's probably like their personalities.
The first thing I think of when I think of posture is how you stand or sit. But there were some thoughts I had about maybe how you carry yourself.
Posture is having a quote-unquote straight back.
Posture is standing up straight and tall, not lunging forward.
Posture is the way that you stand. The way you stand.
Posture is alignment.
posture is sitting straight, standing straight, where your muscles and your bones are aligned perfectly.
I don't know, but I keep getting grilled by my physical therapist and acupuncturist that it's important because it's supposed to be very healthy for you.
It's probably healthier for you if it's good posture and it's not compressing things it shouldn't. Bad posture, you're probably all hunchy. That's how I think of it.
Posture can be bad because there's also there's definitely physical health issues. You know, obviously if you have your neck down all the time, then you most likely will have neck problems getting older. But I think it does have positive. If you have good posture, I think it does have positive because it has to do with something with, I guess, like your confidence in general.
I think it all starts with the core. If you have a strong core, most likely you're gonna have a good posture.
bad posture is like slouching. Good posture is like, standing up straight, having your shoulders back.
If you're uncomfortable, it's bad. If you're comfortable and your shoulders are back, it's good. What makes posture good is that it makes you appear more confident and intelligent and attractive. And what makes it seem bad is if you're trying to intimidate people by being aggressive.
Arcing of the back, I know is bad because you're not lining up your discs kind of all on top of each other, more or less one's getting pinched. So the right posture will allow the proper circulation to kind of go up and down the body.
I think training your muscle memory and being more self-aware.
Go to the chiropractor?
I think everybody is different, but I think it starts with your core. So if you get your core right in the right place, and then you still have like some areas where they fall out of posture, then maybe you have to focus more on these areas, like isolate them and focus more on them. If your core is strong, but you still have a not perfect posture, then maybe you have to isolate the points and work on it individually.
Conscious awareness of their body and how they use it and hold it.
You just start by doing it, even if it's really uncomfortable and feels really unnatural and actually hurts from forcing yourself to sit up straight or stand up straight. If you do it long enough, your body eventually adapts to doing it that way, and you don't notice the discomfort anymore because that's the new reality.
This would be my good posture.
The best posture I have?
Yeah.
I mean, I've made an effort to stand with my back straight the whole interview.
All right.
I don't know if that was subliminal, but here you go. That's my best posture.
So apparently you're supposed to stick your chest out and it's supposed to look like this, I guess? I'm not sure.
People tell me that I always have my shoulders going forward. I think it's because of boxing, so I have to. So yeah, so I think I don't know if you guys can tell. This is my good posture. Right here, I think. I feel like I'm at good posture, but I don't know. Yeah.
My good posture? That's it.
There it is.
Okay, so you just got to see some really cool clips of people random on the street, raw footage. Ryan, you took that footage. What did you think of the outcome of the questions?
Yeah, the biggest thing that surprised me the most was how many people equated posture to like confidence in the way that you carry yourself. I thought it was just gonna be people talking about how you stand.
Right.
So yeah, that was the biggest thing for me.
So one of the reasons why I even thought this might be a topic that would be fun to dive into as far as what do people think and how do we discuss it is because in my practice, I have a lot of people come to me for a bunch of different reasons. And the funny thing is they would come in and they'd say, my neck hurts, my back hurts, my shoulder hurts, or something hurts. And then the next sentence directly after it is, but it's because I have bad posture. And I'd say like, oh, and somebody told you that? And they'd be like, well, my mom told me. Or, oh yeah, my chiropractor says I need to work on my posture. It's some of the things that the gentleman was saying. And so to me, posture was very much about the movement system and how people are carrying and holding themselves like we are. But it does end up being kind of a wider view, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And while there are some similarities in some of the answers, they're widely different across the board. And each time, the people have to think about it, and they got to think like, okay, like, is this my idea of this or is this someone else's? I don't know if that's conscious when they're saying it or when they got it going through their heads, but I mean, you saw the footage right there. I would have been right there with them had somebody approached me and asked me about posture too. So there's no telling what exactly I would have said, but I wouldn't have had much to say beyond what those random people had to say.
Well, okay, well then let's get into this a little bit, because now we've said, okay, it's this buzzword, it's this thing. We've seen a bunch of people say a bunch of different answers or what they see of it or what it could be. Now we've kind of discussed about what we think of it, and let's really talk about what is posture. Ryan, what is posture?
Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines posture as the following: the position or bearing of the body, whether characteristic or assumed for a special purpose, the pose of a model or artistic figure, state or condition at a given time, especially with respect to capability in particular circumstances, a conscious mental or outward behavioral attitude.
So now we heard that definition of posture, and that's a fairly general definition.
Extremely general.
Right? It's talking about like posturing and a position, but it's not necessarily talking about an agent of pain.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So where are people coming from when they're thinking more of that standpoint? Where I'm going to go to the good old trusty kinesiology book for that one. And the definition of posture, according to the kinesiology text, is the line of gravity acting on a standing position. And then it talks about a thing called ideal posture, otherwise known as kinetic alignment. And that's when they start going into when someone has an ideal posture, it looks like this. And it's when people deviate out of ideal that they get into pain.
Can you show us what that looks like?
I absolutely can show you what that looks like.
Oh, you guys are about to have your minds blown.
It looks like this. Now that you got to see a general definition of posture, what is posture as it relates to pain? As we just discussed earlier, that's going to have something to do more with something called kinetic or optimal posture. What is that, you say? Let's check it out. What is optimal posture or kinetic alignment? Well, I'm going to show you on the stick figure guy. It's essentially when the ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, and head are all in one line. When this occurs, the muscles in the back of the body and the front of the body are in the proper position and at the proper length to do their job in an optimal way, or in a balanced way. It's when we experience imbalance that muscles are overused and underused, which equals pain and dysfunction. So as an example, this is a client of mine that came to me with back pain. And if I draw a line through his kinetic posture, you will see that even though I put it at his ankle or his hip or his shoulder or head, it is not in one line. As well as if I take this line and put it on his pelvis and this line and put it at his ribs, it's showing you that he's going to have quite a bit more curvature in his spine between here and here, which puts a lot of pressure in there, which means he's using more back muscles, less stomach muscles, and that in itself, that imbalance can create pain. It can also create things in the knees, shoulders, head and neck. And as you can see, the biggest tilt is in the pelvis. So no amount of taking and pulling his posture upward or pulling his head back is going to result in the posture that is going to take away pain out of his back.
So that was freaking awesome. Thank you, Noelle, for drawing that out and giving us an actual visual representation of what posture looks like.
Well, yeah, and posture as defined as that, which is kind of brings us why we're even bringing this to the why is when we get to a word like posture and people are using it so differently and they're thinking so differently, but yet they're throwing it towards each other like everybody knows what everybody's talking about, then are we really understanding that person? Are we really understanding ourselves? Are we really getting the outcomes that we want if we don't know our why? If you're really looking for optimal posture and optimal kinetic alignment, then that's something different than telling somebody I want to come in here and work on my posture, because you could be working on your fight stance or your confidence or all these other things. And you know what it is to a yoga instructor, what it is to a chiropractor, what it is to anybody is, as you could see, guys, is very, very different.
Yeah.
This is where we want to start diving into these discussions, because as we dive into them further and go down that rabbit hole, the information changes and you might be really surprised, or you might be, boom, I'm right on.
And that's essentially where we need your help.
Yeah.
We're going to keep doing these videos and going. We got topics for days, but we really want to know what you think. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it, subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment. Is there something that you want us to do a video about? We're legit going to do that. We want to see what people want to know about. But until then, we're just going to keep putting these out, and hope you enjoy it, you guys.
Thank you so much. Bye from the Y.
See ya. About... I legit swallowed a fly.
Ryan just swallowed a fly.
Oh, you don't need to record this part.
It's gonna be fun.